You are listening to a Reverie original podcast. Please download the Reverie app to get the best in queer film, TV series, music, and podcasts. Stream out loud.
You took that little extra pod because you have to be sure, huh?
I did. I sure did. This is the second time we're recording.
Hi, everybody.
Father God.
Welcome to Podcast of Color, where four trash bags of color come together to make sense of the world. I'm Rakeem, and I am wearing a crop top and underwear recording this in my room. And we are two trash bags short today. So today is going to be Nigger Appreciation Day. And so that means that me and my fellow trash bag here.
Somebody needs to notify Twitter.
Period.
They said it was National Nut Day. It's National Nigger Appreciation
Wait a minute.
Day.
National Nut Day?
Yeah. Yes. See.
We're childish.
Indubitably.
Period. Who named it that though? Like,
I have no idea. I really don't know who's getting all these days. Like every day is a day.
Every day is a day. I know somebody got somebody texted me I have like resist bot text me or something like that.
Mm-hmm,
and it was something like oh God, it was something really fucking specific, like mental health awareness for people that are wearing green sweaters and depressed on Wednesday day. And I was like, damn, that's
okay. The only reason I didn't even know that their every day had a day, but at my job, my supervisor, my company is in general is like, oh, like we're quirky, blah, 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 blah. And so like we have a whiteboard that like keeps us abreast of everything that's going on with the company, like sales and
yes, sales
and scores and like, if, I don't know, all stock and all that other shit. And so, every day they write on the board what the day is. And it's like, somebody want to look up what the day is? And it's like this morning thing that we do every morning. And I'm just like, I don't give a fuck. I genuinely don't give a fuck. But National Nut Day, I was all about that. So
I'm just like on Twitter, just like reading the comments or whatever, and I'm just like, someone just said, I don't know why this is so funny to me, but it just says it's National Nut Day. It's a celebration. Someone says, so like, are we supposed to bust a nut? Like, what are the rules? And then there's a bunch of porn on my timeline right now.
Oh yeah.
Like.
Mm-hmm.
There's just cum. Like,
I saw a lot of like anime and like, what's the porn anime? The hentai? I saw a lot of hentai.
What kind?
Is there? I didn't know there was different kinds. Bitch. What do you mean? What kind? How many kinds are there? Let me know, bitch. Educate me. I'm for real. I'm asking a real question.
Like, was it straight? Was it gay? I don't know, bitch.
She outed herself. No, I really actually want to know now. How many kinds of hentai are there?
I don't know, bitch. It's just like regular porn. There's a lot of kind of regular porn. Just make it animated. I'm just asking.
Got like BBW and hentai, and then like
I don't know
hentai, and then like race play hentai.
Oh no.
And then like BDSM hentai.
I don't need to know all that.
No, I'm asking you, girl. You the one that's educating me. You the anime girl.
Who said that?
So you tell me.
This is why anime people get a bad name, because the niggas like you.
Bitch, you the one who said it. All I said was hentai. Bitch said what kind.
Okay, bitch. If you ask me, I just watched a porn video. Wouldn't the first thing you ask me is what was the video about? So is that
no, I would not.
We gonna sit up here and lie on this Monday.
You saw some porn. Was it good? Okay, then
you lie.
Great. But if I name a specific cat, okay. As far as I know, hentai is its own category. So if you were to say, "Girl, I was watching some gay porn," I don't need to know whether you was watching.
You're a liar. You're a liar.
Else.
Liar.
I don't need to know it.
Because the first thing you would be like, is Sean, what's his name? Sean Severon in it? Like, you would ask, who's in it? You would ask.
I wouldn't ask you none of that shit because I already know who's in it. Ain't nobody I want to see. It's some white people in there, so. It's probably like, I don't know, like whatever the bear version is of Sean Cody. Yes.
So the question of color this week, is going
the question of color this week is, when did you screw everything up? What was a time that you screwed everything up and no one found out about it?
Right now.
You're like deleting this episode.
delete. Take 3.
Oh my god. Stupid.
Oh my god. Wow. So I'm going to say, I'm actually glad we redid this because I'm not going to go to jail.
Yes, don't mention the illegal shit.
Yes. I originally shared a story that probably would have landed me in legal trouble, so I'm not going to do that. The time I messed
Especially
up,
because if someone could easily find you, you would name like some random situation. I'm sorry. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
You know what, though? I forget that it's really easy to find me because of my name. So it's like a blessing and a curse. Because on one hand, like, if I do something really good, it's easy to find me. But if I do something really bad, like, it's easy to find me. So
let me tell you, I actually have a story for you about a time that me and someone whose name doesn't deserve to be mentioned did something. And that person found us via the internet.
Oh,
tracked
no.
us down. Yeah. Yep. We'll talk about it.
Mess. Like, that's why I give fake names at the bathhouse, because if I go, because
I made a friend at the bathhouse one time.
You went with a friend?
Yeah, but he ditched me. It was mean.
Why would you go with a friend? I don't understand.
I didn't go with a friend. I met him there. I was just like lonely, and I was like, oh, like I'm not attracted to you, but let's be friends. And then he hooked up with somebody that I wanted to hook up with, and then dipped. Yeah.
You were so bad.
That's the first and the last time I ever went to a bathhouse.
Did you pretty much just said, you're ugly and I want you to stay with me until I find someone to ditch you with.
But you know what? I forgot that I was in Long Beach, the land of anti-blackness. And so I did not find anybody. Well, I found a few people, but we don't need to talk about that.
Let's talk about how Lucifer fell and landed in Long Beach and how all fuckboydom comes from there. Let's
the
talk about
fuckboy
that.
capital. It's where they make them. It's like they come out of some portal, I believe.
It's like if you like plant like a Nike shoe in the ground, like in Long Beach.
It's not a Nike shoe. It's it's a New Balance shoe.
Oh no,
it's New Balances.
If you put
with like Supreme, maybe you put like a Supreme hoodie in the ground, and out comes a fuckboy.
And he comes with fully fresh fade, like he comes with sideburns, like
you got a septum ring probably.
Excuse me?
I used to have a septum ring too. There's nothing wrong with it, but he probably has one.
So the question of color this week really is... Oh, we talked about it already.
Yes, so you can tell your story.
Can't use that transition anymore. So my story is, this was maybe like 3 years ago, and I was working with someone, and part of my job is to send press releases out with like, pictures of the artwork and that kind of thing when you're having a show, so people know that, like the show's happening.
Because you're not on Beyonce's level yet, so you can't just pop up and be like, I got a show.
Well, no one can really do that. In the art world, no one really does that.
I believe you can do that one day. I believe in you.
Oh, bitch. Actually, that would be such a dope idea to not tell anyone that you're having an art show and just be like, oh, bitch, it's up. Like, come look. Oh! Ooh.
Just be inspired and keep it moving.
Okay, anyway, but see, bitch, now you got the wheels churning. The story was, so anyway, I used to work with a white girl, and I might have put in the wrong images of the wrong person's artwork and sent that out to maybe like 120 press contacts. And the person that, whose artwork it was might have seen it. And I might have got confronted about it, and I might have told them it was my assistant. It wasn't me. And that person might have gotten in trouble for it, and it wasn't them. But, you know, I mean, whatever. Like, you know, like, white people voted in Trump, and so I deserve. So, you know, it is what it is.
Okay, my story also involves a white woman. Well, a white girl, because I was in high school. Basically,
don't infantilize them, base.
What?
Don't infantilize them. Let them be adults.
I know. She's gonna have enough people caping for her and calling her a white girl.
Right.
Yeah, so I was at school at lunchtime.
Surprising.
And for some reason, I just was feeling real bold and like kind of like an asshole. And I was in the cafeteria in the C building. Our school was broken up into 3 buildings. I can count, I promise. Into 3 buildings, A, B, and C. And there were 2 cafeterias, one in the A building and one in the C building. And I was, wow, this sounds like a math equation. I was in the,
let's use acronyms. We'll figure it out. So A building will be for Ox, the B building will be for Bloods, and the C building will be for Crips.
Okay. And Onks, Bloods, and Crips. Got it.
Perfect.
So, I was in the Crip building.
Mm-hmm.
And it was real cute and pretty until I decided to, cut in front of this white girl. I was like, reparations.
The white girl's Crips?
But I really didn't even try to like sneak and do it. I didn't try to like I really just like walked up and walked right in front of her and stood in line and was like, and what? And I don't like, I'm not
what about
it or whatever. But I don't feel bad about it anymore. And here's why. Because in that next moment, well, first she complained a little bit. She was like, "Oh my god, you're kidding me." She was like, "Oh my god, you're kidding me." I was like, "Girl, what? No, I didn't. I didn't cut you. I've always been here. I've been here for a minute. What are you talking about?" And so I tried to play it up, but it didn't work, obviously, because I just walked up in front of her, and she was like, "You're a nigger." And so I was like, "Well, there you go."
I'm sorry, racism is not funny.
I was like, there you go. Thank you so much. My friend heard her, and then my friend told another friend, and then that friend told another friend. Now, the way my school was set up was I went to school in Torrance, California, so it was like very like heavily white and heavily Asian. So like my school was kind of like white people. It could have been Latinos or Asians. I can't really tell you. I think there maybe was about the same amount, but I think it was more Asians than Latinos. And then it was like all the way down. It was black people. There was probably about 10 black people a class. No, wow. I'm just kidding. There was more than that, but there was a lot less black people than there were everything else. And so when you saw like black people were spread throughout the campus. And so when word got out, when I came out of the cafeteria, the whole, like, front of the C building was filled with black people. Namely black women, because you know niggas really ain't about that life.
So pretty much, she called the door Melage and was like...
Yes. I was like, doot, doot. Wakanda! The girls all got together, and they all chanted. They said Black Power... They maybe sang a couple Negro spirituals. There was a lot of jumping. There was a lot of shouting. And this little white girl was shook. So shook, in fact, that she later hid. And then, rumor has it. I don't know if that's actually true. But that she shit her pants and then she had to leave.
Literally?
Yeah. Like, no, that she, like, literally had to leave school because she shit her pants.
Wow, we know she voted Trump. Like, she hates niggas now.
You know, she remembers that day fondly.
Have you seen Black Klansman?
Huh?
Have you seen Black Klansman?
I haven't seen it.
Oh my god, there's a part where there's like the wife of the guy who's like the main clans person, and like she's literally like talking about, oh my god, I'm so happy, I can't wait to go shoot niggers, I've always wanted to do it my whole life.
Oh my god.
And like that's literally like the line in the movie, and I feel like that is the girl that y'all harassed or not harassed.
I didn't do nothing.
Let me not.
I cut her. That's all I did.
Wait, rephrase that so you don't go to jail.
Yes, I cut in front of her. Sorry. I guess like people knew that I guess she knew that I cut her, but like nobody else did, and I got to cut in line. Like usually that's something that somebody would have told on you for, and you got in trouble. But I didn't get in trouble for it, and I got my food on time. She didn't get any food at all that day, and yeah.
Good. She should have minded her business. And that was it. Like, if you call people niggers, that's what happens. So.
Ooh. Okay. So that's going to be it for the intro. We'll be back with minutes of color. Yes, that's me, Baze, sniffling on the mic.
That's nasty.
There's a few things that we have to talk about today in the minutes of color. But I guess we could talk about the thing that like I know absolutely nothing about. And by we, I mean Rakeen can talk about this. A-Marie came out with an album.
That was shady.
That was not shady. You know what's shady? No, I won't do that.
Don't do it. I don't want to be.
I wasn't gonna come for you. I was gonna talk about Tinashe, but we can leave it.
Oh
no! So many people linked us on Twitter about her getting booted from Dancing with the Stars.
You know what?
I was just thinking about the text messages, and I was like, Renee was like, "What did she get booted from?" I was like, "Dancing with the Stars." He was like, I didn't know that she's on there," and I was like, "Well, she was."
Leave her alone. It is nigger appreciation day. We're supposed to show love. Next?
We only have to appreciate part of her. Okay, so tell us about A-Marie.
I hate you so much. First of all, let me tell y'all, stop texting me and stop adding me in things where Tinashe is not doing well.
Oh God,
y'all aren't funny. The day she left Dancing with the Stars, when we were driving back from the studio, I got 3 text messages that I guess it happened. That's when it happened, I guess, that were like, "You need to talk about this." And then when I parked and I got home and I looked at our Twitter, the ats were just like, "Can y'all please talk about her leaving?" Why? Do you guys like to see me sad?
Yes.
Y'all like? Well, we know you do.
No, I'm talking about them. Obviously, they don't like to see you happy because they wouldn't be telling you about it if they didn't. If they did,
like, I love her to death, and I want to work with her, and I want her to succeed. She just needs a better team.
I actually want her. You know what? Like, for all the shit that I say about her, I actually do want her to succeed as well because I think she's very talented, and I love company. That's a bob.
It really, honestly, that's my mood. Like, ugh, what a song. When she said, "I don't want to be the one you need. I just want to be the one you see every now and then." Mm-hmm. Ugh, a mood. Like, girl, yes. Get out. But anyway, A-Marie, I forgot who we were talking about for a second, and that's the problem. So, A-Marie, notably known for bops such as Touch, One Thing, Why Do We Fall in Love, and My Beard when I was in middle school. She came out with like a double album, and I think it's, oh my God, it's called, yikes, I feel bad because it's like I care enough to talk about it, but like not enough to like look it up and Google it.
Oh wow.
Well, because here's the thing, the album's not good.
No.
No, like I was really excited about it because it's like a double album, and it's like 4 a.m. and then like 4 a.m. on Mulholland Drive or something like that, and like it sounded like she was singing into a fan for literally like 30 minutes.
No.
And so I was just kind of like, ugh. It was like mumble rappy. So yeah, it was just like, it was kind of just like this is what it sounded like. It sounded like, wait, give me like a beat, like a.
Oh, girl, I don't do no beatbox.
Wait, hold on. I'm gonna give you specifics so it'll be easy for you. Give me like a Jhené Aiko like vibe
I
rap.
Listen to her, so I don't know.
Okay, nigga, like an alternative R&B vibe. Okay. So this is what Amy was doing. Like for like the whole and I was like like what's happening?
Ooh, child.
It's a really good album to, if you are high, I'm sure it'll go off. Like I tweeted that it's gonna go right where I put Janae Aiko's album Trip. Is gonna go right into that pile where it's like things I only listen to when I'm like trying to go to sleep and like ASMR isn't working and it's like 10 o'clock and I'm faded. Otherwise I'm never gonna listen to it again. But I did stream it at work on repeat because I do want to give her coin. I didn't buy it, but I did stream it because I do want to give her coins because I know she has a really good YouTube career, but I want her to be successful in music.
Wow, not a YouTube career.
That was not shade.
Hey, Maria,
that was
a YouTuber?
She is a YouTuber.
Is she really?
She does makeup videos and like what she's reading. She like her most popular videos about like how she loves The Alchemist or something like that, or like the Four Agreements.
Wow.
Yeah. So she was talking about how she like took a break from music because she just felt like that's not what she wanted to do, and she wanted to, and she like wrote books or something like that. She's an author.
Oh,
yeah. Right. No, she's smart.
I mean, I never thought that she wasn't. I mean, I never really considered her intellect, to be honest with you, but right, I'm glad that she's smart.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that, you know, she's still making money after Hurricane Beyonce came and, you know, really scooped her up. So, yay.
Yeah. God, all the girls of that era.
Like, I don't even remember. Like, who else? Like, Tierra.
We don't have to mention everybody.
Oh, okay, well.
And here's what I just.
Never mind.
And I just think that I just think it's in our best interest to be a little diplomatic about who we name. Sorry, just
no,
we could talk about it after.
He said, "Up, shut the fuck up."
You know, do you get what I mean? Or
yes, I understand, girl.
Okay,
good. I don't have enough money to pay legal fees at all.
No, I'm not even talking about that. I mean, just I'll mention it. I'll tell you.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. So lovely. I hope you guys tell us what you think of Amory's album. But moving right along, I forgot to talk about this last week.
That are like, who is she?
What's that?
I'm sure that there are a lot of listeners that are like, who is that? Like,
Amory?
The younger listeners, I'm sure.
I saw today on Twitter, some 17-year-old was like, how did people used to burn CDs? Like, how did y'all do that? And I was just like, wow, bitch. Like, I'm really out this bitch. Like, I'm not young anymore.
I saw that too, and my favorite response was, we broke off the part of the CD with the song that we wanted.
I love Twitter so much.
Oh, man. That's crazy. People don't know what Walkmans are. They didn't know that we had to...
That girl was born in like 2001.
That's insane.
Yeah. It's fun.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really funny when I'm like talking to younger people and I'm like, oh, you're 18, you're 19, but it doesn't register to me that means you were born in this century.
Right. Like it's crazy to me. And like, even when, you know, how sometimes like people talk about like 1980 or like 1990, like if someone's talking about 1990, I always assume they're talking about like 5 years ago. And if they're talking about like 1980, they're talking about like 20 years ago. And I'm like, no, nigga, that's like 35. Like, that's a long time ago.
That's interesting because I don't feel that way about the 80s. I think because I wasn't alive for them, I don't feel like they were near like recent. I always just feel like the 90s feel very recent though, because I was here for that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. To me, it just sounds like when people talk about the 80s, 60s, and 70s, it was just like this thing that was just so long ago when it really wasn't. But like, when you think about it, it's more decades than you think. That's all.
Yeah, the fact that I've been on this planet for over 20 years, it's just still like, I can remember, I have over 20 years of memory is like the weirdest thing to me to think about. Like I was thinking about like, something that I did when I was 5, and I was like, wow, that was literally like 1996.
That's, yeah. Like, my sister was born in that was, 22 years ago. That's insane.
Bitch, old. Anyway.
We're old.
Anyway, Cardi B, Queen's Baratheon, is beefing with a YouTuber, a makeup.
If you was beefing at that wedding, you should have been beefing at that wedding. Why would you take that to someone else's club? That's say it.
She's beefing with the MUA, aka makeup guru. And
if you was beefing with an MUA, you should have been beefing with an MUA in that MUA's chair. Why would you bring that to someone else's chair?
Did you see this though?
I kind of did, but then I was just like Cardi, like I was just kind of like moving on because I was hoping that Cardi wouldn't respond, but did she?
Well, okay, so just to give you guys a backstory, this makeup artist, her name is Black Swan, Black Swan, SWAN.
Oh no.
In Houston, I think she's based in Houston, Texas. And she did this 36-minute video, which I did not sit down for the whole thing. I was like, bitch, I'm really not about to watch this whole thing. But I skipped over it, and I was like, oh, okay, so this happened here, and then this happens. And she's like crying, talking about her experience with Cardi. So she did Cardi's makeup once, and she said that at the time, Cardi was kind of rude. And, you know, but she was just like, whatever. She did her makeup and then moved on. Apparently, Cardi's people called her when Cardi was in Texas again to do her makeup. When the girl got there, she said that Cardi like kept saying that she needed a minute. So she was waiting for her. She showed like text messages that showed that she was there on time. And then she said that, you know, I know like when you're doing like a beat face, I don't know all the like ins and outs of makeup, but I watch, you know, some makeup videos on YouTube, and like when when you're doing like a beat face, your face looks a little crazy before it's done.
Right.
Because there's so many like lines and all that other shit for like contouring and stuff. And so she said that she was like halfway done. She was like, you know, doing the lines and the contouring and all that stuff. And Cardi was like looking in the mirror and was like saying she didn't like it. She also kept like looking at her phone and was like talking and being animated while the girl was doing her makeup. And so, like, obviously that's really difficult to do somebody's makeup when they're moving their face. And, you know how Cardi is. Like, she's just all over she's very animated.
Yeah, she's all over the place.
Yeah, so she kept blinking as well, which I guess when you're doing, like, the eyeshadow?
There you go. Sound it out.
No. It's not eyeshadow. It's, maybe it's the mascara. I don't know. She was doing something with her eyes, makeup-wise, and every time she was blinking, the shit was getting on her eyelid. Or not her eyelids, on her,
lashes?
Between the area underneath her eyebrows. And so, like,
what is that called?
I don't know what the fuck you call it. I mean, I guess is it part of the... No, it's not the eyelid if it's...
No, that is your eyelid. You mean the part that's above your eyelid, but then below your eyebrow?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm shook. Wait a minute.
Girl, I'm sure there's a medical term for it. Brow bone. I don't know. Anyway, the makeup kept getting like on her face because she was blinking a lot. And so, basically like halfway through, part of the way through, Cardi like looked in the mirror. She's like, I'm not having it. I'm not liking it. And the girl was like, I can do that. I can fix this. I can do this for you. I can fix it. And she said that Cardi kept getting more agitated as she was trying to like tell her that she could help her and help fix it. And to the point where Cardi just got mad and was like, you need to just get out. You're not getting paid for shit. And then wiped all the makeup off of her face. And they said that they were going to gonna use an alternative. And so homegirl, like, I guess she had clients and all that other shit that she like refunded so that she could make space to do Cardi's makeup. And then she just didn't even get paid for coming to do it. And she was saying that part of why she was hurt was that it wasn't that the girl didn't like her full face. It was that she didn't get to finish and Cardi didn't like it. She was just upset because she felt like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna judge my work, like, judge it off of like the finished product and not like what's halfway through. Because she had to keep starting over again because Cardi kept like moving around, is what she said. So Cardi, this video was posted in like January, so it's just funny because a lot of people are like, oh, like she's just trying to get attention. Why was she just now talking about it? But she posted this video like in January or February of this year, and this allegedly happened towards the end of last year. So it sounds like she posted about it not too long after it actually happened. But I think that the video started making its rounds again. And so people started like tagging Cardi in the video on Twitter and shit. And so Cardi did a video response on her Instagram Live or her Instagram story, whatever. Yeah, I think it was Instagram Live. And she like was saying how like the girl, like Black Swan, was drunk. And she was this and she was that. Whoa. She was on drugs and she was like, and she didn't do her makeup right and she was late and all this other stuff. But the thing is, Black Swan like has like text messages that show like, hey, I'm here. Like, you know what I mean? Like I just got here. I'm gonna wait outside until you guys are ready for me. And the more interesting thing is that Cardi is like saying how this girl is lying on her, but she's literally doing all the same things in the video. She's getting her makeup done in the video. She's doing all the stuff, moving around, talking, blinking, like doing all this stuff that the girl said in her YouTube video she was doing when she was trying to do her makeup.
Yikes.
So I just thought like the whole situation looked kind of ugly. It didn't really look good, I think, in terms of on Cardi's side. I don't think that in the end this is going to hurt Cardi in any way, because I don't think anybody really cares about this makeup artist. Not that anybody doesn't care, but you know what I mean. Like in the grand scheme of things, Cardi B's this huge name, and I don't think that this is going to damage her career in any way.
Right. I mean, actually, the sad thing is it's probably going to hurt the makeup artist's career because of like the influence that Cardi has right now. I am curious though as to why she decided to, like, is the reason that Cardi said something publicly because she posted the video first?
I think what happened was she was tagged in it. You know, her fans are always riling her up. Her and Nicki's fans are like always riling them up.
But I'm saying that like the makeup artist posted the video first, and then
she
Cardi
posted it earlier in the year. Cardi just responded to it this month.
Right, but she still posted it first though, is what you're saying.
The makeup artist?
Yeah.
Yeah. She posted it in January. Yeah. She posted it a long time ago.
So was it like, I didn't see the full video, but like did she come across like she was like, I don't know, how did the video come across?
She was like, crying in the video, and she was coming across like she was hurt, and she felt like she felt like she was taken advantage of, I guess, like, because she didn't get paid for that. And she was just talking about like the things that she did to make room for Cardi. And so she was like boohooing in the video. Yeah.
That sucks. I mean, because imagine like you know, you're excited. You probably told all your friends that you're going to go see Cardi B, whatever, and then you know you get like this really terrible experience, and then it's like you don't even get paid for it, and then you probably like spent. And I know that with a lot of these jobs too, like they don't pay you up front. Like you have to get there, and then you do the job, and then you get your check. And half the time, you then have to chase your check for like a month afterwards. So I know too that she probably like spent her own money to get there. So the fact that she wasn't going to get her money back, I can only understand that she felt that was probably the only way she could probably get heard or whatever. So I mean, I hope she gets her money back that she spent, but that sucks. I mean, and I feel bad because a lot of the times these people behind the scenes, like, people don't understand, like, when I was doing a lot of these like fashion shoots and that kind of thing, like those people work really hard for like a lot of nothing sometimes, like, because a lot of times they just work for like an Instagram tag or an Instagram credit, and then they don't even get that. So I tend to be really sympathetic towards those people because I understand the hustle and I get like how hard that is. So like,
did you feel like you were into, I mean, because you've shot a lot of celebrities, do you ever feel like you were in situations where you were heavily mistreated but you had to kind of just keep quiet about it?
Not by, the funny thing is, most times with celebrity shoots, those have actually been really good. I don't think anyone like I've done that's like a celebrity or well known has been really bad. There have been a lot of there's a ton of stuff that happens like with like smaller things or with like
Insta girls.
No, I have to be careful with what I say. But there's a lot of, I'll say there's a lot of publications that y'all probably think that have their stuff together that don't. And so a lot of times it's like you have to chase, like, for example, I have to chase checks like, you know, that I was told I was going to get like months ago. And it's like, it's annoying because you get told that you're going to get something on like a date and then you don't get it on that date. And then you budgeted that money and then you don't have that money. And then that money has to come from somewhere. So I get why she's frustrated, because what do you do in that situation? And then it's like, you don't even dislike the artist. It's like you were just in a bad situation with someone that happens to be famous. So then what do, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah. And I think one thing she mentioned too was Cardi kind of threw at her face was that she was like excited to meet Cardi because she was a fan.
Right.
And so what Cardi tried to say, and this could be valid, is that she came in with this expectation of, I don't remember, actually, maybe Cardi didn't say this. Maybe this was like a comment in the video. So let me not attribute this to Cardi. But one thing a point that was made was that maybe this Black Swan went in like with this expectation of, oh, we're gonna be buddy because I'm a fan of her. You know, is it called parasocial relationships, where people feel like they know you even though you don't know them.
Right.
And so she, you know, so there was some like mention of that, and I was like, that could have been valid, that maybe like she was like overly excited, but I still think like, I guess in the end, like, you could have like at least paid the girl, like, you know, she cleared her schedule for you, you could have at least paid her.
Right. And like, you have the money to do it, so it's like, yeah. Speaking of, did you see that new picture Cardi just posted on Instagram like 5 minutes ago?
I did not. Nope.
She posted it like as we were talking about her. It's like the single for her new, or the cover for her new single is called like Money or something like that.
Oh yeah, she looks good.
She looks great. Like,
her team, man, like, I really gotta give it to Cardi's team, because they really, like, from the performances, they got her in looks, they got her next to the right people. Like, bitch, I hope Normani gets the same treatment.
Kris Jenner is shook. I feel like maybe it is Kris Jenner, behind the scenes somewhere, because her team is like, actually, I didn't even hear about this makeup thing until you told me about it.
Yeah.
Like, really, for the most part, like,
because it really didn't make that big of a splash.
Right, like, I kind of saw it, but whatever. But it's like her looks that she's been posting lately, like, or that she's been in lately, like the performance choreography, like the behind the scenes pictures that she's been posting on Instagram, like, of the performances, like, she's been lit. I stand.
Yeah.
I mean, treat your team better, but
well, I haven't heard any complaints from her team. It's just,
I mean the girl, but
yeah,
yes,
yeah. But yeah, speaking of Normani, I actually have a change of heart. So Normani dropped 2 singles today.
Oh yes, she did,
in collaboration with Calvin Harris. The first one is Checklist, and the second is Slow Down.
A song.
Initially, I listened to both and I did not like them. But you know what? I think I'm like I think when I like expect to like something, I'm overly critical of it, and so then I don't end up liking it. And so I almost have to go into things blind. Otherwise, like, my immediate reaction is to not like it. Like, I felt like that when I watched Black Panther at first. And then, like, I let it settle on me after the movie. And I was like, oh, shit, that was good. But when I prepare myself to like something, I automatically start disliking it because I've, like, set my expectations so high.
Really?
Yeah. It really, like, I don't know why. So I have to kind of go into things I try to feel neutral about things. But I went into this and I was just like, I don't like either one of these songs. But then I was just like listening to them as I was like going out about my day. And I was like, bitch, I kind of want a dirty wine? Dirty wine? I don't know, girl. I'm not Drake. I haven't studied the accent.
Uh-oh.
But yeah.
If there's footage of Drake during the dirty wine, I want to see that. But I think that they're a bop. So there's 2. One is called Checklist, and then one's called
Slow Down.
Slow Down. Checklist is a cute girl, but she's not Slow Down.
Really? Because I feel that Checklist is that girl.
Wait a minute, because here's the thing. Checklist, to me, she sounds like she's singing, you know, in the beginning of Baby Boy by Beyonce, and Sean Paul saying, like, Shonda Beyonce to Beyonce. Like, that's how Normani is singing the entire song. So
the West Indian jumped out, girl.
What? I didn't understand a word. Like,
I actually don't know if she's West Indian. Is she West Indian? Well, whatever she is, it
I
jumped
don't think
out.
She is. No,
it jumped out. Whatever she is. Let me look her up. Normani Corday Hamilton is an American singer. She's American, but what is she American?
Yeah, girl. I read she was putting on an accent.
Oh, girl, she was born in '96 too. Everybody's young.
Yes, she's my sister's age. I had to be like, oh, yikes.
Oh, she's from Atlanta. Yeah, I'm not saying anything about her being West Indian, but you know what? If Drake can do it, she can too. Whatever.
It was more about her enunciate. Like, she was giving me like West Indian Ariana Grande, like, not pronouncing words, but it's okay. It wasn't like where she was speaking patois or anything. She was just like putting on a heavy accent like Drake does, and I couldn't understand like what she was saying. But the melody of it's dope. Like, I think it's a really pretty song. I told her that for the video, or not, I told her.
You tweeted at her. I tweeted out. I was on the phone with Monty, and you know.
Sorry. I tweeted to her into the void that she should do a video for that song, but it should be like an homage to like Check on It, but it should be like all red, and she should be in like dressed like Aaliyah in like a red bra and like some red shoes and like red like harem pants and just dance her ass off.
Bitch.
it would be everything. And have all black girls make it happen.
Yeah. She
Hello?
probably gotta put in at least one white girl. Even Beyonce has to put one white girl in there just to...
Beyonce low-key does sneak white girls into things. Like, I was dying because, like, when she was doing the performance for, like, Freedom at BET, and, like, there was, like, one random white girl.
No, that's her white... Was she blonde? She has that one blonde dancer that's her dancer, but she's the only white girl.
I know, but could you imagine being, like, that dancer and how awkward that must be?
Our performing formation.
Right, the whole time, like, she's the only white girl.
They always put her in the back during those songs. During those performances, they always put her in the back. She'd be coming out for the neutral songs.
Listen, she'd be collecting her bag and going home.
She sure do. They put braids on her at the 2016 VMA performance.
I know, like, one time I was waiting, because I know this was all happening during, like, the height of Tumblr. Like, Lemonade was, like, right at, like, the height of Tumblr, right before no one cared about it.
Yeah, it was right before it dipped, yeah.
Right before it dipped. And I remember at one point, someone had brought up Beyonce's white dancer in a discourse, and everyone just shut it down, like, girl, shut up. No more.
We're not talking about this. Yeah. I choose to not acknowledge it.
And Tumblr likes to talk about everything.
I was just like, she light-skinned as far as I'm concerned.
They're like, she black. They was like, that's Tinashe. Be quiet. She's
That's her melanin deficient dancer. Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's
diversity.
What that's Beyonce. That's Tinashe not on a full moon.
Mm-hmm. She's a quadroon. She's an octoroon. That's really what that is. She's from New Orleans. She's actually Beyonce's cousin.
What you said? An octoroon?
An octoroon.
What is that?
An octoroon. That's 8, right? Yes. So that means you have your 8 grandparents. No, great grandparents. There we go. Only one is black. It was a category given to mixed black folks in Louisiana before the Civil War.
Oh, she reads.
Yeah, there's octoroon, and then there's mulatto. There's one between quadroon. There we go. Quadroon is when you have one black grandparent and 3 white ones.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was a whole thing. The whole plissage system. We could talk about it. It's a different thing.
I was going to make a really nasty joke, but I changed my mind.
Maybe not in this one, because this was about the exploitation of light-skinned black women. So, we just go move on.
Yeah.
But,
as we're talking about a white girl, but okay.
Yeah. She's not white. She's octoroon girl. We said this. We established. Okay. Okay.
Oh, it's a title that you get. I didn't realize. Oh, I'm an octoroon, bitch. And what about it?
But yeah, so I'm really excited about Normani's burgeoning career.
I think that she's going to. I'm excited. I really feel like we're about to witness, like, the birth of, like, a star. Like,
I feel that way too. I feel that way too. I agree.
Yeah, she has. I don't know. She just has, like, it,
she
not to compare her to the other Fifth Harmony girl, but, like, she has.
We don't know her
exactly.
Though Havana, na is kind of a bop, a little bit of a bop. We'll give
Havana.
Yeah, Havana, na.
Listen,
or that one thing where she's like, just like nicotine, Halloween morning. No. When she says heroin, it takes every time I hear that song. Nicotine, Halloween, morphine.
That's so ugly.
I like that song though.
No, I've told you I hate that part so much. So every time it happens,
I love it.
I cringe. because you can tell, you could just see her, like, I can see her, like, putting her teeth together and, like, sticking her neck out to, like, hit the note.
Oh, bitch. It's honestly my new
me.
cock. Like, first I didn't like cock, and then I love it.
Girl.
Yes. I hear that song, and at first I was like, heroin, bitch? What's wrong with you? Why are you pronouncing it like that? Now I'm just like, heroin. I almost wish I did it so I could talk about it. You go that way.
You go into the bathhouse and be like, do you have heroin?
Anybody have any heroin? Part P&P girls.
P&P. Just me.
Just like P&P. Oh, I have to stop. Okay. So anyway,
we're going to hell.
So anyway, Normani is that girl. I'm really excited about her. I really haven't been excited about young artists this much since March. Except Chloe and Halle, but
who was March?
Chloe and Halle when they dropped their album.
Oh yes.
But I feel that way about these three girls, and like, of course, they're all blessed by Beyonce, but like, I think she recognizes that in them. Like, especially like, I was kind of neutral about Normani.
Wait, Baze, you know what was really great about the sentence you just said? When you referred to Beyonce as she, I know it was capitalized. I felt it in how you said it.
Of course it was.
All caps.
I really was kind of neutral about Normani until I saw her performance with Khalid.
Yes.
When she not only was singing, but then she hit that split and did the roll on the floor. I was like, bitch.
I don't know what that was. For a moment, I thought I was watching Hereditary and she was getting possessed. But
I was like, this bitch is putting on a motherfucking show. And I'm like, because you just don't see that with artists anymore. Like, they really
showmanship
don't put on a show like that. And she was like, I was like, is this Beyonce? Like, did Sasha Fierce take over her body? We did see. That's what we saw. That was the possession.
That's actually what happened. I'm sure Beyonce had a little say. Oh my God. I'm sure that Beyonce called Normani over and she called her and she's like, come here, I got something for you. And she's like, okay, now look, this is gonna hurt just a little bit, but it's gonna be necessary, right? And she sits her down. And she sits her down and she goes, I'm going to bestow the spirit of Sasha Fierce on you. She goes, Sasha Fierce is the name that humans use for her, but her real name is Beelzebub.
Shut the fuck up. Beyonce will kill you for saying some shit like that. Not Beelzebub. Isn't that the name for the devil?
Yes, that was the joke.
Please seek help.
Oh my God.
But yeah, so we've been talking about this for a minute, but I just, yes, I'm really excited for her. I'm really into both of these songs. I feel like Checklist is it Checklist?
Yes.
Checklist is that song that I'm gonna be whining to in the club, and then Slow Down is when I'm just gonna come home and then ride the dick. That's what those songs are for.
That is not what I thought you were going to say.
Well, it's what I said. So
I thought you were going to say Vogue the house down or something.
I mean, I could do that too at the same time. Porque no los dos, bitch.
Ooh. Oh, you're going to Vogue while writing? Oh my God.
Girl, death drop on the dick, honey.
Yeah. Come on. Speak.
Shablam!
Come on. Splat. Could you imagine? Be da-da-da-da-da-da. Come on, daddy. Come on, daddy. Wet, harder.
Oh God. Okay. Who's Lord Jesus? Okay.
Oh man.
So, yeah. I'm trying to think of a perfect time to talk about this, and I really don't think there is. So, let's just have a sober moment, bring it all together, so we can talk about some real serious shit that is going down. Basically, what's happening is, if you haven't heard, the Trump administration is continuing their plan to kill all of us, but starting with trans people. They're trying to redefine transness and what it means, and the meaning is going to be your birth is what you're assigned as at birth is what you're going to be for the rest of your life. A lot of conservative people are like, oh, well, this is science and we're just basing it off of science. But scientists, therapists, there's a whole community of experts who've studied trans people and worked with trans people and that widely believe that transness is real. And this is decades of research, decades of lived experiences. And you have... It's just crazy because I remember learning about this in health class about being trans and the difference between sex and gender, and the fact that people are trying to use it as an argument, well, this and this and this and that, and it's at the end of the day, what you're talking about here doesn't actually correlate to anything. People are like, well, if you have an X and a Y chromosome, guess what? Some people are born with X and Y chromosomes and they still come out with penises. Some people have two X's and a Y chromosome. Some people have, I don't think you cannot have a Y. Look, don't quote me on this part because I don't know
but whatever science is supposed to be, bitch.
But I do know that there are people that are intersex. Intersex is people who are born with markers of both sexes. So it's just funny because people are like, oh, science this and science that, and it's like, but what you're talking about doesn't actually correlate to like real life. Like you're talking about, oh, well, a woman has to have a womb. Guess what? Every woman doesn't have even every woman that you would consider. You, a transphobe, would consider a woman does not have a womb.
Right.
And so what you're talking about here is like, you're fucking with people's lives and it doesn't cost anything to just let people live and be who they are. In fact, it's costing you something to be like this, to take us backwards and to cause more harm to a huge segment of our population.
Like, I just don't understand why why does that bother people? I don't understand. I don't understand that. I don't know. At this point, it's just like I'm dumbfounded. Like, it's just, and the thing that makes me upset is the reason they keep attacking trans people is because they know that people across all aisles hate trans people. And so it's like getting people to show up for trans people is really hard, and they know that. And so that's why they keep doing these targeted attacks, which is like so gross to me. So again, well, I guess it doesn't matter now because you'll be hearing this on Tuesday, but today was the last day to register to vote. So I hope that people did that for midterm elections. But yeah, so in California,
yeah.
I mean,
there actually are some ways to help with trans folk in the U.S. There was a list compiled for Out Magazine, or Out.com, excuse me, which, what is her name? Raquel Willis. If you don't know her, she's amazing on Twitter, and she is always at rallies and is amazing public speaker. She helped compile this list, and it's just the way for it's multiple ways for you to help trans people outside of voting. So there is Bring Attention to Yes on 3 in Massachusetts, and it's a vote that's happening in Massachusetts on November 6th, and it would repeal protections for transgender and non-binary people in public accommodations. So if you are in Massachusetts, please call your representative and vote yes on 3. Obviously, get out and vote is number 2 on this list. Contribute to number 3 is contribute to trans-led organizations. Yeah, so you can visit Trans Justice Funding Project and Borealis Ooh, this is a word that I struggle with sometimes.
It's okay.
Philanthropy.
Philanthropy.
Philanthropy. Fund for Trans Generations. And Borealis is spelled Borealis, and then you hopefully know how to spell philanthropy.
PHILANTHROPY.
There we go.
Philanthropy.
And that's it. That part. Number 4 is contribute to bailout funds. For, trans people are out here marching for us and themselves, and they are being arrested for it. So let's do what we can to get them out. And number 5 is call cis people. Speak to other cis people when you're talking about when you're having conversations about trans people. Calling each other out and making sure that because this, people aren't going to listen to them. They're going to listen to us. Other cis people are more likely to listen to us than they are to trans people. And so we have to use our privilege to speak out for them. And then number 6 is pay attention to the notice and comment periods on proposed federal regulations. Many proposed changes to federal regulations, like the one written about in today's New York Times, have to go through something called notice and comment. So through mail, people are able to say what they think about a federal rule. This is a huge opportunity for citizen engagement, because even if it doesn't impact the administration's decision, it will be easier for pro-LGBTQ plus organizations to argue in court that the measure is discriminatory. And then 7 is support trans and non-binary journalists and make sure our major newspapers and media outlets are doing the same. And that is the list. So if you just want to look at that again, it's Hell No to the Memo, 7 action items to protect trans and GNC people on out.com. Yeah, I don't know that there's anything else I can add. Did you have anything that you wanted to add to that?
I mean, that's really kind of it. Other than that, like, hire trans people in your workplaces as well. Like, and I actually read, God, I can't remember where the country was, but I read that, like, literally sometime, I think maybe this month or something like that, I think it's a country in South America granted a law passed a law that said, like, 1% of federal jobs, like, have to go to trans people, and, like,
oh wow,
and, like,
I have not heard about that.
Oh God, I can't remember. I have to try to find where it is. But, like, as if there's not a computer in front of me, but I'll try to find it by the end of the episode.
Yeah, but it takes a minute to, like, look it up while you're talking.
Right. So I'll try to find it by the end of the episode, but yeah.
I don't know how they do that on the read. They'd be, like, in mid-sentence and then they look it up and it's like, oh, boop, we have it.
Because they have better attention spans than we do, and usually it's like 4 niggas on this show, so.
That is also so true. Okay, so, and it's funny, I reached out to a friend today and they seemed tired, I guess, and weary of cis people reaching out to them when things like this happen. And so it was a great reminder to reach out to trans folks on days when horrible things are not happening to them. And also just paying better attention to, the trans people in our lives. Because, this is a reality for them every day. They're constantly under attack. So this is not a new thing for them. It's just more apparent to us. So
right.
Rihanna was asked to do the Super Bowl next year, and she turned it down.
She said absolutely not. She said, she said, is Colin Kaepernick employed? I don't think the answer is yes. So what I will be saying is no. So we stand.
And I really, it was interesting because I was reading this piece, and fucking Amy Schumer is trying to make me like her again.
Oh, wait, what?
I'm not there yet, but she's trying. She posted on Instagram. She said, Friday thought, I wonder why more white players aren't kneeling. Once you witness the truly deep inequality and endless racism people of color face in our country, not to mention the police brutality and murders, why not kneel next to your brothers? Otherwise, how are you not complicit? I think it would be cool if Maroon 5 backed out of the Super Bowl like Bad Girl Riri did. I personally told my reps I wouldn't do a Super Bowl commercial this year. I know it must sound like a privileged-ass sacrifice, but it's all I got. Hitting the NFL with the advertisers is the only way to really hurt them. I know opposing the NFL is like opposing the NRA. Very tough. But don't you want to be proud of how you're living? Stand up for your brothers and sisters of color. And hottest thing a guy can do is get down on one knee. Not to propose, but to reject the treatment of his teammates by this country. Anyone who says it's disrespectful to our military, please read up on the fact that a lot of veterans are proud of what Kaepernick is doing and fully support him. What are your thoughts?
I mean, she said that?
Yeah.
I guess. Like,
again, I'm not going to be like, oh my God, Amy Schumer is that bitch. But I'm just like, I kind of feel this. I feel the same way that I felt about Taylor when Taylor Swift finally came out and said something.
Right.
Said something. I was just like, okay, this is nice. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh my God, she's a savior. But I'm like, this is nice. I'm good. I'm glad this is happening.
It's like, girl, I guess. Like, I mean, I just keep thinking of, like, about that, like, Formation video. And I'm just like, why was this made? Like, I don't know. But
yeah.
Sure. Like, go off, Amy Schumer. You're absolutely right. In this moment,
she also got arrested for protesting, what's that nigga's name? Kavanaugh.
Fine. I'll give you a Scooby snack, and I will call it a day.
Oh my God, yes. So, yeah, I mean, good on Rihanna. Shout out to her for doing that.
Eternally stand. I want that black lip paint though, because that looks fire. Did you see that the Fenty stuff that she's been coming out with? So you know how she had like that red like stunner lip paint? She has like a few more of them now. Like one of them's like jet black. I feel like I know it's not. I wish it was called nigga, but it's not.
I wish I liked lipstick on me. I only really like eye makeup. I don't really like lipstick on me.
You look really good in eye makeup. I will say that. You look really good in dark blues.
I love eye. Like I had some. I went out with some friends the other night, and Miss Ian did some put some trophy wife on my eyelids, and I was like, yes, bitch. I was feeling my oats.
I gave John trophy wife for Christmas, and then I went over her house not too long after and haven't touched it, so I took it back.
What? Wow, John is like allergic to supporting Black women, even if it's for free.
Okay, let me not start the rumor. That's not true. But okay, never mind.
Yeah. So anyway, we do have a couple more things to talk about, so we should probably move on.
Mm-hmm.
Recently, one Kelvin Pena, I don't know how you pronounce that, aka and probably more known to you all as Brother Nature, was dragged for some old tweets that he twoked back in ranging from like 2012 to in 2011 to like 2013.
Yeah.
2011 to 2012. And I don't think I need to go into all of what they are, but it's like stuff like I want like animals to lick peanut butter off my body, and like Heil Hitler, and Jay-Z looks like a monkey, and
one says like white power or something like that.
Yeah, there's like a lot of white power Nazi stuff, and he put out an apology today. And usually I don't, he emphasizes like how young he was, and usually I don't particularly like that, but I think that this is a special case in that, he was 11 or 12 when he tweeted this stuff. And so, cause he's 20 years old, this happened not even 10 years ago, but he's 20, and I think there's a huge difference between a 20-year-old and a 12-year-old. And so let me read what he said. So he said, I woke up this morning to see my old tweets resurface on my timeline, and my heart dropped. I started using Twitter when I was 12. I was very impressionable and was seeking attention. I'm sorry to all the people that I offended and have let down. I apologize for 12-year-old Kelvin and take total responsibility for my words. Everyone changes, everyone learns, and everyone makes mistakes. That's why I spread so much positivity with the platform I was given to be a role model for the kids. I hope that all of my friends, fans, and followers truly understand and believe that I have evolved as a human being, and I lead with love. I was a child and am now a man, asking you to accept the apology of a young boy. Love, Kelvin Pena. What are your thoughts?
I thought this whole thing was honestly really ridiculous, to be honest with you. Normally, so you kind of know how I feel about cancellation culture in the first place, because I feel like it's really like it's not consistent whatsoever, and I feel like
it never lasts. Like people are always like, "Oh, you're canceled."
Well, it never.
The only person I've ever seen. Sorry.
Oh no, people never cancel people that they like, so it's just kind of like you just cancel people that you just don't like anyway. So it's not even like you're really canceling them. So it's like so. Like I made a tweet and I was like, if you're an Azalea Banks fan, please be quiet about this situation, like period. Like but I felt like this whole situation was okay. He was 12 years old. I think back to when I was 12 years old, and I just thank God that like I didn't have the internet, because like when I was 12 years old, I was being picked on and I was being bullied in middle school, and I didn't have friends, and all I wanted to do was like fit in, and I knew that I allowed a lot of shit, and I did a lot of stuff that I am like not very proud of. Like I remember I used to tell my mom that I would like try to want to dress like a thug on purpose so people would think I was black enough, and like I would try to like wear I told her like I wanted her to like wear me FUBU clothes, and like I hung around Latinx folks like who said nigga all the time, like who weren't like Afro Latino. Like I did a lot, like I'd let people do a lot of stuff, because at that point I didn't know or care about a lot of that stuff or know what woke was. And when I was 12 or 13, I just wanted to fit in because I didn't want to be picked on anymore. So sometimes people do and are do things when you're that young because you're a child. And I think that when you are 12 and you're 13 and you're trying to figure out what life is, and like and your body's changing, and there are these hormones, and like boys at that age are crazy and say really ridiculous things, and we all know what we were like. So I feel like unless you want to expose everything you said when you were 12 and 13, like that's like to me, it's actually upsetting the fact that someone sat there and scrolled back to 8 years worth of tweets through this guy's timeline, sat there and scrolled back through 8 years worth, or 6 years, however many years worth of personal growth, and was literally reading the tweets as they're going down there to find something problematic, saw this dude and all the positivity that he was doing, knowing that he did this when he was 12 years old, and then decided to screenshot and click publish. You're a loser. Like, and that's kind of how I feel about it. Like, he shouldn't have said those things. And I know I wouldn't have said the Nazi stuff. Like, whoa, like, I don't know what that's about. But all that other stuff is just kind of like, he's 11 years old. Like, I have a cousin that's 11 years old and doesn't even like understand like a lot of concepts yet. Like, she doesn't get a ton of things. So it's just like, the fact that you're like, I'm never going to, I don't know. And even if you do cancel him, what are you going to do? Just not retweet his video anymore? Like, so it's like, to me, you just sound dumb. Like, there are people that are actually doing problematic things and actually saying problematic things, and there are actual issues. And like, you like, use common sense. And if you're like too woke for that, or if your common sense doesn't like, if your wokeness doesn't include you using common sense and empathy, and like cut that out. That's silly to me. But that's just how I feel.
Yeah, I mean, I personally feel like I think that the fact that it was out there, I do think that like an apology was warranted. Absolutely. Because now it's out there and it was found, and he did say those things, and there were horrible things to say. That being said, like, I'm a big fan of seeing people. I'm a big fan of growth. I mean, you know, we say that we stand growth here at Podcast of Color because, you know, none of us, I don't think I was saying anything on this level when I was 12. And, you know, I did have the internet, but fortunately I was just reading Harry Potter fan fiction at the time.
Right. But like, we didn't grow up with Twitter. Like,
oh, no, true. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we grew up with MySpace and Facebook. Like,
yeah, that's true. But like, I appreciate the person that it seems like he's tried to become, and it seems like he's working on being a good person and being a positive influence. And so I think that I think there's holding someone accountable, but I think that there's also like, there's this thing that's, I don't even want to say toxic, because I feel like that's overused as well, but I just think that it's useless. There's this need to find out when someone has done something wrong and then cancel them immediately without any chance for growth. And I don't think that's productive, and I don't think that it moves us towards anything. At that point, it's like, why even do any work if you're just canceled?
Well, because
like,
it's
why try to be
everyone has done something that's going to be offensive to literally everyone. I'm not saying to that level. Like, I just feel like at this point, when the reason I'm so frustrated is because, like, it's not even like if this was something. So here's the thing, like, and I'm not even saying that I don't think that people should have stuff that they said that's horrible exposed. Like, if you're saying stuff and it's like last year, 2 years ago, then by all means, like, you put it out. But like, I just feel like when you're going that far back, it's because someone has a grudge. Like, it's no good intent coming from that. Like, yeah. Like, what is that supposed to, like, you're trying to make us think that, okay, like, as a, like, I mean, I get it, I guess. But to me, it's like, you went back trying to find something. Like, trying to look for something.
Oh no, but that's what everyone does, and that's what was cracking me up was all the jokes about how he should have scrubbed his thing, because you really do have to scrub your shit, because once you start popping, people want to bring you down.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I scrubbed all my stuff in 2016.
And I usually hate when people like put emphasis on their age, when they're like, oh, I was this age or I was that. But like, I find that in most of the cases that I've seen, people are like, oh, well, you know, I'm 25 now and I was 19 at the time, which is, I'm like, okay, girl, like, you was a full ass
you're an adult.
You didn't know better. But I think in situations like this, like, there's so much like, this man's brain is still not fully developed. Like, your brain doesn't even fully develop until you're 24. Like, imagine where his brain was at when he was 12.
But that's what I'm saying. Imagine where
that's
your
where
brain
that's
was
where I'm at, because I'm like, there's such a huge difference. Like, we're not talking about somebody like this. We're not talking about like somebody from age 18 to 22. We're talking about somebody from age 12 to 20. Like, that's a huge, like, there's so many changes. There's a huge difference between 12 and 14. So there's a huge, even bigger difference, I feel like, between 12 and 20. And I think that that's something that needs to be, like, obviously considered. I think people try to use like a rule of thumb, like it should, or not a rule of thumb, but like I don't know if that's what that phrase means, but like a blanketed rule. Like, this is how it is. This is how it works. But context matters. And so the context of this situation, I think, is different than it has been for a lot of the people that have gotten called out and dragged. And I think that when you see that somebody has made the efforts to change, like, this isn't like Jeffree Star where like this nigga's getting dragged every week for being anti-black. Like, this is some shit that went down like almost a decade ago, and you've seen nothing but positivity over the last few years. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's my point, because to me it just seems like some losers just went and did this, and that's why I'm just upset, because it just seems malicious. Like, there was no actual point to this other than to like cause drama to someone who, I don't know. And now it's like his life could be ruined because of that, right? And it's just like,
I think he'll be fine.
I think he'll be fine
too. Thing.
But it could potentially have, and I understand that he shouldn't have said those things, and I understand that. But again, he's a child, and I really want to emphasize that, because I feel like if this were a little white child, that same grace would be extended to him. So
if he had said this shit yesterday and he had been white, it would have been like, no, but that was the old him. That was yesterday him. He's a brand new person. He was just a boy.
Right. Like, he was 12 and 13. Like, I don't know. I just feel, I don't know. Maybe I should be more upset about it, but I just feel like at that age, people just say dumb stuff because I don't know. I honestly can easily see that.
I honestly was relieved when I saw what it actually was. Like, I was like, oh, I've seen all this stuff about him being canceled, and I was like, oh, Lord, what did he do? And then I saw it, and I was like, oh, shit, this was like almost a decade ago, and he was a kid. He was little. He was a child. A little child when it happened.
I feel like all little white boys go through a phase where they do that. Like, I really do.
I feel like if you really like listen to some of the shit that a lot of 12, 13-year-olds say, maybe not on what he was saying some wild shit, but they be saying some crazy shit. That's not the first time I heard somebody say that they let their dog lick peanut butter off of them.
Nigga, go on Xbox Live for like 5 minutes. Those children are like, that's why now sometimes when people are like 6-year-olds and 5-year-olds are so innocent, I'm like, I don't know, girl. like
some of the shit that be coming out their mouth.
I'm like, I'm a bitch. What? Like, I'm a motherfucker. No, what are you talking about?
True. Okay, so I was like kind of going back and forth over whether we should talk about this next topic, because it is, there's a lot going on in it. There's a lot happening, but I guess I can start from like how I am familiar with it. So, I remember not even a few, like early in my Tumblr years.
Should you trigger warn this?
Oh, right. Yes, you are right.
Like, because I feel like out of everything we've talked about on the show, like,
we should trigger warn for just abuse in general. And
girl, everything.
Yeah, so that's pretty much I think we're ending the discourse, Minutes of Color, with this. So probably just skip to the discourse. So I first came across Noodles and Beef. This is this person's Tumblr name, at the time. Who was this big, like, beefy, like, muscle bear brown guy. And I do remember thinking like, oh, he's so attractive. And I remember following him for a little bit. And then he said something like, he said something to the effect that, he could never be with like a black person or just anyone in general darker than he was. And that was, later found out was the PC version. Apparently he said, that black people's skin looks like shit.
Yikes.
Yeah. Then it started coming out that he was abusive towards his partners. So he's polyamorous and he's into kink and like the whole master sub pup. I don't know. What is the pups?
I honestly don't know.
What is like the pup? Oh, okay.
No, I don't know. But I just wanted to preface this by saying that like we don't know a lot of like this is actually like a very like serious topic, and so we're gonna try our best to like, you know, honor that. And we don't know like we don't know like every single term, so we're gonna try to use the correct thing, and if we're incorrect, just let us know, and then we'll gladly, you know, talk about the errors. But sorry, anyway.
Yeah, so it's just been interesting because there's just been like a lot of just conversations around this on the internet, and a lot of people have actually been asking us to talk about it, which was like, I was like going back and forth about that because there's so much stuff that's still coming out every minute. But anyway, this guy has like a bunch of like pups or subs, and he has them from all around the world. And some of these relationships are IRL, some of these relationships are just online. But he became known for being abusive to his partners. And from what I understand about like the whole dom sub thing is that you're not supposed to, it's a kink, but you're not supposed to live in it all the time. You're not supposed to live in it 24/7. And so he was doing that. He was living in it 24/7. They were his pups or his subs at all times. And there was no like, I think there's like supposed to be like a care and like, you know what I mean? Like coming out of the kink and then like showing affection for each other. And he wasn't doing any of that. And so when his partners and him when he would break up with a partner, the partner would leave him or whatever, they would like basically go on the internet and talk about this because this guy was like hugely Tumblr famous. And in San Francisco was like a celebrity, or I mean, still probably is like a celebrity. Then recently, so then he like left. I think he left Tumblr. I don't know. A lot of people left Tumblr, including myself. And so I didn't know anything about anything pertaining to him. But I guess in the interim, he was kind of, people found out about him in the Bay Area, and so he had to kind of leave. And so he moved to Seattle. And part of that was isolating some of his partners. One of his partners, his name was Jack Chapman, and he went by Tank. He was Australian, and he met him online, and then moved here. Then they became partners, and there were times when they broke up, and so people that spoke to Jack during their breakups are now posting like DMs and conversations they had with him after they broke, you know, when they would break up. And then he would get back with him. And so this last time he got back with him, and so this Noodles and Beef guy, his name is Dylan, he's really into like silicone injections. Now I've heard of saline injections where they inject saline into the testicle so that they like swell up, but he's like into like injections, so like it's a permanent thing. And so he's doing it, and then he was encouraging his partners to do it as well. And they were not using like real doctors. So this guy, Jack, got sick and he died.
And essentially the thing too with it is the reason, so I kind of did a little bit of research into this beforehand about the silicone and saline thing. Yeah. And I think what the answer is like, when it's saline, like I think something if it like slips out or something like that, or like when it dissolves,
it dissolves
like, and it comes in and it like goes into your bloodstream, or like dissolves into your bloodstream. Sorry, whereas silicone will actually cause a blood clot, and like that's what will happen. And so so it'll cause,
which makes sense because it's more permanent, it's more sturdy. I would imagine,
which can also then cause infections. Which
So the controversy is that now I'm reading there's this Tumblr called Noodles and Beef in Jail. Apparently the Seattle PD is now investigating, according to this Tumblr. There's just like so much information coming from so many people that are in the bear community, and not just like from the Bay Area, but like as far as like Toronto, people that have interacted with this guy are like coming forward with their stories, and talking about the ways that he just was like emotionally abusive towards them. He threatened to, so this guy, I'm sorry, I'm really bad at names. Did I say Jack?
Mm-hmm.
Jack, yes, Tank. I'll call him Tank because that's where I see him. That's where what I see him called most often. And that was the name that he was going by. But him and Tank broke up, and the issue with that situation was that he moved him to Seattle with the understanding that he would be paying much less in rent. And then when they broke up, he was like, well, now I want you to pay the equal amount of rent. And so then dude like tried to leave, and he like threatened to, and Dylan, Noodles and Beef threatened to sue Tank. And it just was like a thing where he was like, he had a contract with them. He threatened all of his partners to not say anything about their relationship, publicly. There's even a contract here, which I just came across. It's just like, there's just so much. And even now, as I'm reading this, I'm like, I thought I had a handle of it, but now I'm just like, as I'm like going through these Tumblrs, there's just like so much like manipulation, just abuse in general.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know. Well, the issue is that I know a lot of people are saying, well, he should be in jail, but I don't really know that there's anything that can be done to, sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry. I wanted to bring it up too, because like, not because, and like we're bringing it up in the Minutes of Color, not to like make it like a gossip topic or anything like that. We're talking about it because it's like about abuse. And so, I mean, like the main reason we wanted to bring it up was because like this was like a case of something where we just felt like there were like, and a lot of people were saying, and like based off of things we read, it was like a case of like, you know, really abusive behavior, like kind of disguised as kink. And like, you know, that's a discussion that maybe like needs to be had, and like what that means. And so for me, like, it's important to talk about it because one, like, you know, if you recognize that you're in a situation like that, you know, to maybe ask for help, and like isolation tactics and stuff like that are like signs of abusers, and like it's not really healthy. And I mean, I don't really know, or am not qualified to like give professional help, but I would just say maybe talk to someone who can, if you're in a situation like that, or if you even like see that your friends are in situations like that, then like you say something too, like, you know, because a lot of times people that are in those kind of relationships are going through a lot of things, and like they're not maybe in, you know, a good place mentally or psychologically, and you know, sometimes they need their friends, if they have any, to step in too. So I don't know, but like sorry, I did. No, you're good. I found the contract. So one is, a pup's mind is the exclusive property of the master at all times. There's like a bunch of other stuff underneath that, like to say, a pup's body is the exclusive property of his master. And then again, there's like a bunch of stuff like describing in which way. A pup's sexuality is the exclusive property of his master. A pup's social identity belongs to his master. Like underneath it says, a pup will identify as any name that his master bestows. Well, that sounds like the king, but it's just, there's a lot of things under here that are a little concerning, but it's hard to like really. I personally, if I had a friend who was in this situation, I actually wouldn't know what to even say, because it seems that the whole basis of this situation is, the whole point of it is the power imbalance. And so I for me, that's something I've been thinking about, because I was like, I definitely get like the sub kink thing in a session, but I don't understand it I guess in like a lived experience. Like I don't understand it in like well, this is what we're gonna do, and we're gonna just do it like this, and this is our default situation, and we're just gonna come out of it sometimes. And so like I voiced that online, and like I've had like some people who are a part of the kink community be like, well, there are healthy ways to go about it. It just does seem unhealthy to me, but I am also like, I've not had extensive conversations about this kink with anyone, and I don't know anybody like personally that like is into it like that. Right. Well, that's what I would be curious to actually see, like, because my question is more like how, like, because I've heard that too, like people are saying like, you know, well, this could be practiced safely, and so my thing is, well, what does that look like? Because you know, like, I understand that a lot of this stuff is like consensual, like so it's like very confusing to me, and like because at what point like does that, you know, Like, at what point do the lines blur? And then, like, what happens when, like, someone is maybe consenting to a behavior that might be abusive, but they might not consider it that? I don't know. Like, this is, like, so confusing.
Another interesting thing to me is that, like, there's in one of these conversations, Tank is talking to this guy, and he's, like, saying how, you know, he's leaving Noodles and Beef, which is weird. We should just call him Dylan. He's leaving Dylan, but there's another guy that's like being flown in, like he flew in another guy, and it was just like about how like replaceable all of them were to him, and how he felt like Dylan needed to be needed. So he needed these people to be completely reliant on him because, you know, that's what an abuser does. You have to need them, and that's how they gain their power. And it's just interesting, I guess, because for years I've heard about him and like how famous Dylan, is in San Francisco, and how he was like this big like gay celebrity there because of how he looked, and that was literally what it came down to. He had the right look, he was hot, so he was like a celebrity there, and it took his abuse getting out multiple times for him to become a pariah in that situation. And it just makes me think about like all the situations in which it just makes, you know what it made me think about? There was this post the other day I saw, and it was like a post of like Jason and Freddy Krueger and like a bunch of movie serial killers or whatever, and they all had like abs and like they had their asses sticking out, and it just kind of reminded me. I was like, you literally just could like slap like abs on anyone and like or muscles on anyone, and it's just like poof, like all their sins are wiped away, and that's all that matters. And I think that's something that is concerning to me because it just is. I feel like it's so prevalent. Like you have so many people that take advantage of the platforms that they're given, and they're given platforms so easily for no reason other than they look good. And people are willing to ignore. Like, I wonder how many times people had to hear about this guy being abusive and he still has defenders. He still has people online. This man, like, so another thing that we didn't even mention was that he was lying about the guy being alive even after he died.
Right.
And then his obituary came out, and I don't know if you saw this, but his obituary came out, and the obituary is all about Dylan and not Tank, the guy who died.
Yeah,
it's all about what Tank did for Dylan.
Yeah, I don't know.
This man's a sociopath.
Like this actually like creeps me out a little bit because like a lot of this stuff, like actually like when I first heard a lot of this, I actually didn't sleep well that night because I just felt like really disturbed. Like, like who does that? You know what I mean? Like, so yeah. I don't know. I just at this point I'm just curious.
Somebody who has who's been given the power to do it.
Right. So at this point I'm just curious to see, or not curious. I just want to see like what happens like with the like if there's an investigation and that you know. Hopefully this just never happens to anyone else, you know, because it's insane. And so it's like the second time that this happened. And I know we're going long, but yeah. Yeah.
I just want to say, I'm curious to see if, you know, this does end up blowing over. Does he come back online and does everyone just completely pretend to have forgotten everything? Because that seems to be the MO. That's what I was talking about earlier when you were mentioning canceling. Somebody pointed that out. Like, I remember I mentioned this on the episode a few months ago. A bunch of white gays got exposed on Twitter for being racist. And the gag is that they were all canceled allegedly, but now all their pictures are being retweeted and I've seen multiple of them. People are still following them like nothing ever happened. So wow. I just think about like, you know, it's all very performative, and I don't really buy into cancel culture because except for like Sabrina Claudio, who they got the fuck out of here. She said nigger once and they got her the fuck out of here.
Oh, listen, here's the thing. There are certain things that are just like bottom line, like you're done. Like, saying,
you know what it is? I think if she had made more bops, she probably would be okay. But people just didn't care about her enough. That's what it really is. Nobody gives a fuck about that. Nobody cares about anti-blackness. Even the black gays don't care about it. You put some abs on somebody, and everyone wants to be a nigger, and nobody gives a fuck about anything, so it's fine. Look, I'm just calling it what it is.
I mean,
anyway,
you saying one classic album equals one nigger usage.
I'm just saying, if Ariana Grande said it, you said it yourself, you would be...
Well, because she's a black woman.
Okay, we need to move on.
Okay.
So, this has been a minute, but yeah, We'll be back with the discourse. What up? We back with the discourse. It's gonna be a very short discourse because that Minutes of Color was quite long, don't you think?
Elongated.
You know what it is when you get two niggas in the room and then we just chit chat and nig nag at each other.
Nig nag, patty wag, give a nigga bone.
Yes. I was watching. You know what I was watching today? Tales of the Crypt Part 2.
KSSR?
Have you never seen Tales of the Crypt? Or not Tales of the Crypt, Tales of the Hood? Maybe that's not what it's called.
I know.
I'm really bad at names.
I know.
You don't remember that show? Look, I'm looking on Netflix right.
Are you talking about like Crypt Keepers?
It's like Tales from the Hood or something. It's like Tales from the Crypt, but it's like for the Hood. It's like the Hood version.
Yeah, girl, I don't know what you're talking about. I know that there's probably... I feel like I'm probably getting my black card revoked. And
You are. I know the niggas know. I know the niggers out there. All my niggers.
Nigger Appreciation Day.
Ladies, leave your coons at home. Niggers, leave your coons at home.
Oh, no.
It's 11:30.
Oh, no. Wait, no, finish the sentence.
I can't think of anything. You finish it. You're more creative than I am.
Niggas, leave your coons at home. The club is full of...
11.
Ooh.
It's 11:30 and
the club is full of hoteps and they I don't know. I'll think about it by the end of the episode.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. Look, I never claimed to be a freestyle artist.
Look, I have a ghostwriter, so
bitch, shut up. But yeah, so I've been like I was watching the Hood one, the Hood version of that. Like, it's like a bunch of it's like a movie, but it's like a bunch of Tales from the Hood 2. Yes, that's what it's called. But there's a Tales from the Hood, the original. It came out in like the early 90s or something, and it's just like a bunch of little stories highlighting like racism, and the horror is the racism. But there was just a lot of niggers in that episode. There was a lot of calling of niggers and a lot of use of that word. But the reason we're talking about niggers today isn't because we're just saying niggers. We're not just saying it for the sake of it. We're talking about reclaiming some slurs. We're reclaiming our slurs.
Reclaiming our slurs.
Reclaiming our slurs. I mean, I guess I could ask how we feel about that, but I think we both are on the same page. How do you feel about reclaiming your nigga fagotosity?
Oh my!
How do you feel about it? How do you feel about being a fagot? A fagot.
Oh my god!
A Niger.
But here's the thing, right? Because it's actually interesting. I have no issue with it at all. But it still shocks me. Here's the thing. So actually, babes, this is what I learned. I have no problem saying nigger, but I say faggot, but like I hesitate to. And I feel like that's because I've like newly come out like in 2013, like I don't have as much of like a hold to that word. As I do to like nigger, because I've been that my whole life. I mean, I've been gay my whole life too. But
yeah.
But it's just more like I haven't been like out my whole life. So I was curious to see if you actually felt that, because that's kind of how I feel right now. Like I still use it, but like sparingly.
I've been on a journey.
Oh, tell me, friend. Walk with me.
Yes, I've been on a journey. Yes.
Let's walk together.
Let's walk. Let's take a turn about the room.
Let's take a turn about the room, Miss Elizabeth. Something about her air and the manner of walking.
Oh, bitch. We need to watch Pride and Prejudice when I get to LA.
I have the DVD now.
Oh, bitch. Let's do it.
Period.
You're the last man I could ever be propelled to contrary.
Oh, my God. It's a period drama.
Period. Okay. Yes. Let's take a turn about the room. So, it's funny because I was definitely like a respectable TM. Not really TM. Let me not give it all that.
Wait, what does TM stand for?
Respectable-ish. Because I was always really aware of like racism and like the history of it, because I've always loved history. But I used to be very like anti-nigga. But part of why I was anti-nigga is I think I was just hating because it didn't sound right coming out of my mouth because I had grown up around white people. Mm-hmm. So I was like, nigga, it doesn't sound, it just doesn't, I can't say that. Nobody else should be able to say it either. So I was very open to the bullshit. I was like, nobody should say nigga. We just all gonna be kumbaya. Like, none of us are niggas. We are black people. Power to the people. And then I want to say I graduated high school and I was just like, oh shit, like, nigga. So then I was like, then I started getting comfortable with saying nigga. And then I actually started like spending time around more black people and I was like, oh bitch, nigga. So, but then, you know, I remember like there was like this moment where a lot of younger people were saying, weren't necessarily saying it, but they were messaging when they were like texting or when they were tweeting or on Tumblr, where they were just spelling it with the hard R. And I was like, these coons out here calling themselves niggers. They not even reclaiming nothing no more. They just calling themselves what the white man calls them. Cause I was very much in I had the stance that nigger and nigga are different.
And they are for some
honestly,
people.
they're really not. Like and like that's something that I've now come to be more comfortable with. But I guess I would have to say that the moment where I really like changed on nigger was that video.
Wait, which one?
That I showed you. So, okay, we talked about this. This is the origin story of our using the word nigger. And so there was a video of this man and this woman participating in race play, but I hadn't seen that one until after I saw this one. Somebody put the voice from this race play video over a cartoon. And it's like, I don't know if it's like a pig. Is it Peppa the Pig or something? Or maybe it's an octopus. I don't know. It was some type of like animal. And the animal knocks on the door. And the door opens and it's a penguin. And so the animal in the front of the door is like, "Hi, nigger. How are you?"
Oh.
And the penguin is just, his beak is just open. He's just shook. And I saw that for the first time, I want to say in 2016, 2015. And it took me out. Like, I died when I saw that. I cracked the fuck up. And at first I was just like, oh my God, like, this is so taboo, but it's funny. So I just kept it to myself. And then I was like, you know what? Like, maybe Rakeem might like this. We have similar humor. And I showed it to you, and you were dying. I've been laughing about it for a couple months. And so at that point, I was like, wait a minute. And then I started saying it to you, and it was meant to be shocking and funny. It was meant to be ironic. But then we started saying it so much that I just like was like, okay, nigger. Like now, and honestly, now I say nigger, and it really doesn't, like, it doesn't mean anything to me. I don't know that it necessarily even feels like it's reclaiming, which is maybe a problem. Because it's not necessarily reclaiming.
But isn't the point of reclaiming getting to the point where you don't have to reclaim it anymore? Because the connotation of the words changed?
That's fair. Because I think even when I hear... I'd still be ready to fight, but even when I hear white people say it, there feels like less of a stab because I use it.
Oh, skirt! Okay, let me know. I disagree. That's not true.
Really?
I will beat your ass on sight.
Oh. No. Wait. We're not saying that we're not ready to fight. I didn't say anything about that. I said that it hurts a little bit less.
Oh, no. Don't do that. I'll still...
Really?
I'll still punch you.
I feel like when you hear a white person say it, you feel like a stab in your heart. And I feel that still, but I don't feel it on the same level that I used to. And I feel like I feel like by me saying there is a little bit of power that I feel like I've taken out of the word being used against me. Again, I will still fight you. Like that, I'll fight you for bumping into me. So that's not saying much.
You know what it is, Baze? You know what I'm thinking? You know what? I don't even think it's the word so much as that I would be upset about, as much as the fact that you have the audacity to actually call me that, which is why I'm upset. Like, because it's not even the word. It's just the fact that like what that means that you're using it like that. You know?
Yeah, and like faggot, I think I have a very different. I definitely was against faggot at first and here's why I was against it. And here's why I think I'm still a little like, I will say like art fag sometimes, or I'll be like, oh, like, you know, like a fashion fag or something like that. Like I'll throw that in there. You know, there are the fashion fags, especially here in Brooklyn. The girls be putting, you know, I told you they be putting their arms in the wrong hole in their shirt and they be like, fashion. The Brooklyn girls, they be wearing their little spaghetti strap tops and they be running the world.
Oh no.
Yeah, so, and there's nothing wrong with the spaghetti straps, top. I'm just saying, some people be feeling themselves just because they wearing a spaghetti strap top and they not doing too much. They not doing nothing.
Don't you wear spaghetti strap tops?
I do, and it's not doing anything. I do it, and it's not anything. Like, it's cute. It's a look, but it's not like, I don't know. I just feel like people be like, we're fucking gender because we're wearing a spaghetti strap.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And I'm just like, girl, calm down. Like, calm down. Anyway, my point is that I feel like people use faggot a lot. I feel like a lot of gay people use it negatively. So, like, that's my thing is, like, I feel like when people are like, oh, this faggot, or, oh my God, you're such a faggot. And I'm just like, well, then I feel like we're kind of just going along with how it's always been, and it doesn't really feel empowering to me at all. So I think I've been a little bit more hesitant about that because I really don't hear black people saying, oh, you nigger, like with like venom in their, you know what I mean? In their
right.
voice.
Like, I've never been mad and called someone that, like, and that's the thing. I say it all the time, and that has never been my word to go to when I've been angry. Looks at PewDiePie. Ever. Like.
Jeffree Star, Shane Dawson.
Like, ever.
What's that white boy what's that white boy, the brothers? I don't know. Go ahead.
Girl, I don't know. No, I was done.
Oh. So I think that it's been interesting too, because I feel like we've gotten feedback, from people who listen to the show who didn't like our use of queer, who did not like our use of, I haven't really heard too much about faggot, but we really don't say faggot, I guess, as much. But I've definitely heard about, you know, people being uncomfortable with us saying nigger, on the show. And it's been interesting because it's just really funny how, like, we can all, I mean, it makes sense. Obviously, we're all individuals, but it also is interesting that, like, we all have this different relationship to these words. Because for me, I've always said, like, queer has always been empowerment. And it's always been a great identifier for that. And never felt like, I never personally experienced being called queer as a slur. So it's always been, like, an empowering, like, word for me. But for some people, they hear queer, and I'm assuming a lot of people, especially like in like, I mean, well, no, people here, John has said that he's heard it, and Renee has said that he's heard it as well. Did you say that if you've heard it or not?
No, I've actually, you know, the thing is, I've actually never been called like a faggot or anything like that, like, to my knowledge, to my face, like other than family. I don't think I've ever been like, so that's what's weird for me too, because I think that I have this weird relationship with like being straight passing, if that makes sense. Like, to me, I feel like I'm not at all, but like I can see that other people could think that. So I don't get a lot of like the homophobia as much, from straight people as much as I do from queer people, if that makes sense. Yeah. So I don't know. I have like, so for me, like I have this weird relationship to the word because I feel like I haven't experienced the oppression enough. I don't know. It's like in my, like the voice in my head tells me that even though I identify as and go through these motions and like still, you know, deal with everything that we deal with, I felt like because I haven't had like those like raw experiences like that, like where, you know, where I've seen, and I'm not saying that it's something I want to have at all, but like I've seen, you know, my friends talk about how like they've been, you know, have people have like walked by them and called them a faggot or something in the street, and like that just like hasn't really happened to me. So I feel like because of that, I don't really have the, like, I feel like it's not even my word to reclaim, if that makes sense, even though I still like identify. So that's where I like use it very sparingly because I have like this weird relationship with it personally. Whereas like I've experienced, you know, racism, like blatant racism and covert racism, like my entire life, like the entire span of my life, you know, whereas like I've heard homophobic things from my family and all that too. So I know that like doesn't invalidate me, but I have to get to the point where I'm mentally okay to like, where I don't like shudder. Cause even like when you've been saying it sometimes today, like when you were talking about like art facts, like I would go like, oh, you know, and that's why. So yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Do you feel that, how do I phrase this? I guess what, do you experience that at all? Like with your relationship with that word? And then like, have you noticed like what have you noticed about like other people's experiences with like black slurs or slurs?
Wait, repeat that?
Sorry, that was the weed talking. Let me rephrase that question.
I was like, wait a minute. I think
No, that was definitely weed. So let me rephrase that question. Have you experienced like, I guess like, how do I phrase this? I guess what I'm saying is like, have you ever experienced people trying to reclaim something that's like not theirs, and like what, and like, I don't know if that makes sense. Like, maybe it doesn't.
I don't know. I don't think oh, well, I mean, yeah, like
I don't know if that
like
makes
people,
sense.
Like, I guess I can't, like, you mean like non-black people saying nigga?
Yeah. I mean, I know the obvious answer to that question. I don't know. Maybe I guess you're not the correct person to ask, because I'm realizing that's maybe a question for John or Renee.
John or Renee, yeah. I really do. That's what I want. I do really. That's a question that I really want to answer to. I'm like, why y'all not reclaiming y'all slurs instead of ours? Why y'all trying to reclaim our shit? That's what I want to know. That's the tea for another day, though.
Well, I guess that's what I was asking you. What was your opinion on that? But I guess,
I mean, my opinion is I want to know. I don't like it, and I want to know why it is.
Right.
It just doesn't make sense to me that, y'all, there's so many slurs for everybody. And y'all all got to use the one that we got.
Well, I mean, I think the short answer is because they think that blackness is cool, but then hate the black people. So,
well, an excuse that I've heard a lot is that a lot of like, especially like Asian people, feel like they don't really see themselves represented. So like the next best thing that's not white is black, and so they invest in like black culture, and so part of that is like using our stuff. But it's just like, I don't know, like,
can you not?
Yeah, like, please. Or not please, rather don't not in my face.
Can you fucking not? We have nothing, thank you.
Exactly.
That's all.
Yeah. But I don't know, like, I think that it's interesting because you kind of have to, like, for me, the interesting thing is like having that conversation with people who feel slighted by me reclaiming things that are also things that affect them, That's the complicated thing for me, because especially when we got that like that letter from someone who was like, I don't like that you guys say queer, or when I've had like other black people be like, well, I don't like that you guys say nigger with the hard R. It was just like, yikes. It's like, do I stop saying these things? Because I do understand the pain that they could potentially cause you, but it's also like, but I'm also black, right? And so like I have my own relationship with these words, and I have the right to have that relationship with those words.
Right. Rule is I just kind of like, I don't let other people influence how like my relationship with those words. I just don't use those words around those people. So it's just out of respect.
Yeah.
But like,
no, and in that situation, definitely.
Yeah. But other than that, absolutely not. Like, I'm not going to like change my language because you don't like I would never ask you to do that either. I just would say, don't say it around me. But I think that's all you can really do. But even then, I mean, I don't know. Some people might take offense to that. So I have no idea. I think that I would be curious to talk to John and Renee about this too, because like, I feel like we're very, like open-minded about this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm curious to see what they think, and also what y'all think too. Like, because I know we've gotten like a lot of mixed feedback about that, and I'm just curious to like see like what y'all thought. I think this episode's a very like feedback heavy episode, so I'm curious to see like what y'all thought about a lot of things we talked about today. So yeah.
Let me even look and see if you motherfuckers have even sent us any messages.
And also too, I think our discourse was actually like a good amount of time, because that's kind of the time that it takes for like two people to do a discourse.
Yeah. Why am I feeling contact high? You know what? I'm not contact high. I'm tired. That's what it is.
Contact high for like me?
Yeah, I was like, I'm contact high through the mic,
girl.
And I'm like, you know what? It's actually after midnight.
I wish. I'm sorry about that, but we're here.
No, it's fine. We here, we queer. Yeah, we'll be back with a couple questions of color. So,
all right.
That was good talk. Break.
All right.
Hello and hi.
Hola.
So, and bienvenidos. And I don't know. I wish I knew like welcoming. Welcoming.
What?
That's German for welcome.
Oh, I was kind of scared. Do that again.
Welcoming.
Ooh, no.
Welcoming. Something like that.
That sounds like you casting a spell. I saw Hereditary. I don't.
Oh, bitch. Have you watched the Haunting of Hill House?
I sure have not because I saw
bitch,
the word
watch
haunting.
that shit.
Is
it's
it scary?
Good. And I don't even like horror movies, but it's good.
Is it scary?
Watch it. It's a little scary, but watch it.
Then no.
Watch it with your sister.
Nigga, why would I watch? That's like asking me to watch a movie with an ambulance. Why would I do that?
I know I did think about that. I forgot that she's a very vocal television watcher.
She's a very vocal, and with her loud ass, is someone get? Oh my god! Oh my! No, I'm not doing it.
Okay, so I won't say your name because you didn't say whether I could or not.
Let's make up a name.
Huh?
Let's make up a name. Sindel.
Jean-Pierre.
Oh, Jean-Pierre.
Jean-Pierre.
Okay, Jean-Pierre.
Jean-Pierre says, do you think there's something to be said for artists or anyone creative seeking mass mainstream success who is queer or gay, etc., to ease their sexuality into view? The reason I'm asking is mainly because recently MNEK released his debut album and it hasn't done the best.
Oh, no.
Let's just say the album is very focused on empowering gay people and specifically gay black men. Even though he did promo for the album, has been touring, collaborated, and has written for Beyonce, Zara Larsson, Hailey Steinfeld, etc., it doesn't seem to have increased his commercial mainstream appeal as a solo act. He said a few weeks ago on Twitter that he blamed straight black men for not supporting his album enough, which I don't fully understand myself as the album isn't geared towards them. For me, I think the combo of creating a niche project, being gay, being a black man, and being flamboyant is and can be a lot for the mainstream to swallow. His live shows are also quite gay and flamboyant, which is lovely, and I appreciate myself, but it might be an issue for timing or just simply that it's not resonating at the moment. I read an article recently by Rolling Stone that said that even Troye Sivan has struggled a bit on the charts. His song with It Girl Ariana Grande wasn't as big as it would have been expected, and his song Bloom didn't pass the 50 mark on Billboard Hot 100 chart. Mind you, he's still rich and doing well, but I'm talking about how people react to the song and the work. When I look at how Sam Smith, who is fucking huge now, has marketed at the start of his career, it was done in little drops. And to me, he's done quite well, to say it mildly, and still been able to be himself. He's very free and open about his sexuality, etc.
This is a great question, actually.
Yeah. I don't think it's a black or white thing. I think it's an awareness thing of realizing how so many people in the world still think in smartly marketing, playing the game if you want to achieve a certain thing. I do think for a lot of people, when they are first getting to know you of your getting to know of you and your sexuality, the main defining, Getting to know you of your sexuality is the main defining thing. It can be a bit of a distraction from the essence of the work because a lot of people still have strong views about other people's sexuality. I think for women, it's a bit different and maybe not as shocking. Would you agree? So anyway, do you think there's something to say for creative who's looking at worldwide mainstream success to ease it in? I'm not saying deny your truth or don't be yourself, but work it in a way that people are able to digest.
Wow.
You can go ahead first, Rakeem.
So I agree with you, except for one point, which is that you said you don't think it's a black and white thing, and I think that actually has a ton to do with it. Yeah,
because you've been looking at the difference between Troye Sivan and MNEK
and Sam Smith. Like, there's one huge difference, right? And I think,
but even looking at I'm just saying, even looking between Troye Sivan and MNEK. Like, look at the support that Troye Sivan gets versus the support that MNEK gets.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. And I think, like, first of all, like, he's a black gay person who doesn't have a white boyfriend. So, like, that in and of itself is, like, an anomaly.
He doesn't look like the kind of digestible black gay that white people or white gays can even support or will want to support.
Yeah, he's darker skinned. He has dreads. I mean, he's very attractive, but like,
no, I didn't say he's not attractive. I just mean he's not.
Oh no,
he's not out here like he's not out here like half naked all the time with abs and like gigantic chest muscles.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah, I agree.
The way he presents is not something that necessarily like white people want to see from gay black men.
And he's femme presenting too. So
exactly.
So it's just kind of like you have to then incorporate all of those things. And I think that like when people look at like Troye Sivan that do it, I think Troye Sivan also like, okay, I don't know if this is going to make sense to you, Baze, but I think Troye Sivan kind of creepily benefits from like the fact that he looks really young. And I think that,
yeah, he looks like he's a twink.
Yes. And it's actually like really weird to me. It's the same way I feel when people talk about Ariana Grande in like a sexual way. It's like really weird to me. And like, I think they both like capitalize off of like, and like Melanie Martinez did it, which is like really weird to me. And like, they all capitalize off of like this, not purposefully so maybe, but off of like this like youthful kind of like, I'm of age.
We're young.
But like,
Khalid does it too, kind of.
Yeah. It's like, I'm of age, but like I'm young and like, and you know, whatever. And a lot of people kind of flock to that. And I think sometimes they look at him like, oh, like he's so cute. Like, look at him putting on nail polish, blah, blah, blah. Like he's such a cute little boy. Whereas MNEK is going to then look like, you know, because he's black, people are going to look at him like he's a grown ass man. And there's all the kind of stereotypes that come with that. So when you're talking about marketing, like I think any person that is in marketing that's good at their job knows those things, right? And like those are things that are taken into consideration, and especially at labels, like they don't, you know, that's why it's harder for darker skinned artists to break out because of colorism and racism and all of that. So I think that is part of it. When it comes to like about like adjusting your queerness, I think that that's a really interesting thing because I don't know, honestly. I feel like Sam Smith to me is like very like palatable in how he presents his queerness, if that makes sense to you. Like, I don't think he does anything that's like and nor does he need to, but I just don't think his like brand or type of queerness is like anything that's like shocking to people. And I feel like it's actually very
I think there's no difference between the way he presents himself and the way that Justin Timberlake presents himself.
Right. Like it's a very like palatable, like heteronormative, even like in the way that he sings, like it's just very like, if like, yeah, I don't want to say you're straight, but then just replace with a man. It's just like the thought process, I don't think is very like hard for straight people to make the leap for, because Sam Smith essentially sings what straight people sing, just replace the pronoun and like, you know, and I don't feel it's his music,
there's nothing visibly queer
about it. Yeah. Like it's not like, I wouldn't define his music as like queer music. It's queer because he makes it and he's gay, but I wouldn't say there's like queer signifiers like in the music. Like if I didn't know that, I don't know if I would know if it's by a queer artist. Whereas like MNEK, I would. And I think that's part of what it is. And if your question is, do you have to kind of be palatable to get to those places? Sometimes, yes. That's what Beyonce had to do.
Yeah. I was like that's a perfect. Beyonce was exactly what I was thinking about.
Like, she had to do that too. So I don't like fault someone for doing that. Like, just because someone doesn't say something out loud, you don't know what they're doing behind the scenes or what they think. So I don't think you have to do that. But I think it's interesting in which the way society kind of like has us absorb these people, though, if that makes sense.
I mean, yeah. And you even think about like, women definitely have to do it. You think about the way that Rihanna, like when she first came out, she was like girl next door, like, you know what I mean? Like sexy, but girl next door. And then people were shook when like she was like, after like the Chris Brown situation happened, she was just like, that's not who the fuck I am. And I don't want to uphold that image anymore. This is who I am. And
to this day, I'm still shook. Like, I cannot believe we have the Rihanna that we have.
Honestly and truly, but like, she couldn't have come out as she is now. I don't think she would have been able to do it. I don't think people would have appreciated it, because I think people like to have neat boxes, and they like for people to come in neat boxes. And when you're doing too much, when you're too queer, then, you know, people are not gonna, I don't think that people are necessarily gonna gravitate towards that unless that's already a part of like their experience.
Right. I fully agree with you. So,
yeah.
Yep.
So, I mean, yeah. So I think, yeah. But I also think that, like, you know, that you don't have to necessarily even do that. Like, I think that.
I don't think that you need to, but like, I like,
if
I
you do want
a
certain level.
Yeah. Like, I support whatever way people choose to do it, because some person's path to success is not someone else's path to success. So some people feel like they have to be palatable. Like I have to do that too at work sometimes. Like when people code switch all the time, and like they have to know when to turn certain things off and when to turn certain things on, because sometimes that's a check at the end of the day. For celebrities, it's a little bit different, but for like everyday people that are like going to jobs like every day, you know, we have to make those choices. So I understand whether or not people choose to like how people choose to, you know, do that in their everyday lives. It's kind of up to them.
There you go. And that's that on that.
Period.
Okay, so one last, let's see, what time are we at? Okay. Maybe we should save this for next week, because this is going to be a long ass episode.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is going to be a good little interesting letter to read, actually. So we will come back to this. Also, please, guys, keep writing into us. We get to them. We do. We take a while, but we get to them eventually.
We promise.
And you know, it's nice to be back. It's been a week and we back.
Period.
And we'll be back next week. Period. Who do you have to thank this week, Rakeem? I was going to say Renee.
Oh my God. No one, I think. Let me.
What?
I don't think I did anything this week.
Honest. Oh, bitch, she's slipping. No, I'm just kidding.
No, let me rephrase. I don't think anything came out this week.
She said correction.
Okay. No, so I'm good. So, okay. Oh my God, I do have to say thank you to God though, because I put in my request for my vacation. I haven't taken a vacation in a year and a half, and I am finally having a week and a half to 2 weeks off in the beginning of next year, and I cannot wait. Oh,
you should come here, but that's another tale for another day.
Talk to my bank account, girl. It looks like
I was gonna say, did you see the meme, and it's like Prince William and Kate Middleton, and he's like, I'm good on any MLK Boulevard, and she's like, he's quite all right. Have you seen that? And she's like in front of him, like she's like speaking for him. Okay, bitch. It was funny.
It's quite all right.
Oh, sorry. I didn't realize you were laughing.
I was laughing. I just backed away from the camera because I was laughing loud. I mean, the mic because I was laughing loud.
And listeners, if you have watched The Haunting of Hill House, please tweet at us and please Instagram at us. I want to hear your thoughts.
If you do, don't tweet opinions. Spoilers, because not all of us have watched it, and more than one person checks the account.
Fine, just realize then that. at me. And tell me what your thoughts, what your feelings were about it. Like, didn't Carla Gugino, is that how you pronounce her name? She looked amazing. She's like not aged a day since Spy Kids. So, but yeah. See, that's an incentive for you, Rakeem. The mom from Spy Kids is also the mom in this movie. So girl,
I'm an adult. I haven't watched Spy Kids in literally like a decade. Why do I care?
What's wrong with you? It's good. It stands up. It holds up. Anyway, y'all, this was cute. I hope you guys enjoyed our niggerosity.
Happy Nigger Appreciation Day.
Yes, National Nigger Appreciation Day.
And you can find us everywhere, or you can find us on Twitter at Trash of Color, everywhere else at Podcast of Color. And send in your honey roast. We haven't done a honey roast in a while. Maybe we
have not. Yeah, please send us some honey roast. We haven't read one in a while.
We haven't done those in a while.
In this world.
Send those over. Support Normani, buy her music on iTunes, support Black business, and
support trans people, the ones in your lives and the ones that are. I think that's it. Just like and subscribe. Comment on our Apple. What is it?
iTunes.
There we go. iTunes page. There you go.
Ooh, girl, we're tired. Ooh, okay.
Girl, it is almost 1 o'clock.
It's late. Okay,
here.
So look, we'll see y'all next week, girl. Bye.
This podcast is executively produced by Aaliyah J. Daniels, LaShawn McGee, Damian Pelliccioni, Christopher Rodriguez, John Kagandahan, Keem Cunningham, Baze White, and Renee Hernandez.